If you're using average costing method, you would face problem in defining landed costs for inventories. So in this video, we're going to teach you how to get over that. And if you're not sure what landed costs are, these are basically additional costs associated with getting your inventory into useful inventory. So let's head over, and I'm going to give you an example here. Let's look at this area first. If you were to buy, let's say, 3 items at this unit price and these quantities, you would have a total of $1,000. And sometimes you would have additional fees associated with those, which is $500. Now, how would you split that $500 into the unit price? So there are a few splitting methods to do that. One of the most reasonable one, in my opinion, is the current cost method. In other cases, you can use equal splitting method, splitting by quantities, by volume, unit measurement. There are a couple of other ways. So in this video, to make it simple, we're going to use current cost method. With that in mind, I'm also going to talk about the double entry that's working behind, which is also mentioned right here. So let's jump over to Odoo and make this happen. So most of you would not have the landed cost option under your inventory section, which is because you have not opted for it in your settings. So go over to your settings section after entering the inventory tab. Under configuration, go to settings, and then go to costing area and select tick the box next to landed costs, and then hit save. After a while, you'll notice that you have a landed cost option in your inventory section. Next, the most important task would be to ensure if you have a landed cost type, which is necessary, which is in our case, in our example, is the agent's fees. So we will have to ensure that you may have other charges like delivery charges or other costs associated. So you're going to have to make for each of those costs, you're going to have to add cost types, which you can get from this section, from the settings section, and then you can create. So if you go over to create, you would need to put, let's say, taxes, right? And then split method, we're going to talk about it later, but for now let's choose current cost, and this is of course a service, and then you would need an expense account, so which would obviously be a liability account. So for the sake of this video, we're just going to select this, and you hit on save. Let's look at a live example and create a purchase invoice now. So I'll be walking you guys through the process, and you would notice that you won't be able to create add landed cost and average method, for which you would need an additional add-on to be downloaded. But let me show you what error message you would reach to, and then I'll show you how to work around to reach that method. By the way, I'd like to show you what method of inventory costing are we using. So I'm going to wait for that page to load. Until then, we'll add the products that we wanted to add. Okay, and number of units for the computer case were 2 at the price of 90. we will not be dealing with taxes at the moment. Let me add another product. Apple in-ear headphones. This was 10 units at 50. Then the next one is wireless. Keyboard, and this will be 8 units at price of 40. Great. So the page for inventory has loaded. Just wanted to show you guys the current valuation method that we're using here is, since this video we're talking about average costing, so we will definitely change the entire process. Great, everything looks good here. We've covered about valuations in a different video already, so we're not going to get to that. Right, let's go back to the purchase we were making, and also in the meanwhile I'd also like to show you those inventory unit prices before we validate. So let's head over to the product section and let me just show you guys. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make something like before after, so you guys can see how things look like. So before, quantity, and price, and then after, I think we've got it here. So this section should basically cover all the after work. And well, we just wanted to show you so that you can get a better idea about this. So since we were looking at headphones, we have 18 units on hand right now. Sorry, was it headphones? In-ear headphones, yes. So it was 18 units, and the price is showing us $70. So now let's look at the wireless keyboard. This is 22 units at the price of 10. And then we finally have the computer case, which is, we have no quantity on hand, but the price, average pricing was 20 units. So you would notice how after we do this, we're going to end up with not this, but we will end up with an average that would reach so I had to pause the video for a bit and change a few things to make the explanation much valid, and to show basically how the average costing will change most of the results. So at the end of the day, we'll finally have this result. So let's go back and to the computer case. Now we are fine to go ahead with the purchase. So at $1,000, we have debit inventory account, and on our credit we would have the payables account. So let's go ahead and validate this. Sorry, I had to cancel my invoice and validate it again because I forgot one step, which was I have to configure my stock picking method. So usually what I do is when I purchase, I just want it to reflect into the inventory right after I hit the validate button on my purchases. So if you want a feature like this, you would have to separately install an add-on, and I think I have done a video on it before. I'm going to have to install and select this option in your settings. I can mention the link of the add-on in the description below. I think it's a paid add-on, so it doesn't come for free, but I'll still have a link in the description so that you guys can have access to it. Okay, once you're done with that, you're going to notice when you click validate, there's going to be a number showing up. So I'm just going to wait until it makes the changes. So I'll pause the video until this is completed. Great, so now that's done for me, so I'm going to hit on validate button, and I should have different look this time. Yep, so we've got a shipment here. Let's go ahead, hit on it, and then this way we could have inventory movement right away into our account. Great, so we've got inventory into our system now. Let's head over and add some landed costs. If you notice the inward transaction, you'd see it appearing here, which is 006, because that's the only transaction that I've done. Now, since in the example we just mentioned customs agent fees of $500, we're just going to follow the same example, and our cost is going to be $500. We're going to use the current cost method, and here's how everything's going to be different for you guys. So once I hit compute, it's not going to work. Why? Because I'm using an average costing method, so the methodology would not support it. This is the main area of the video that I want to talk about. In order to deal with this situation, I have mentioned a link in the description below for an app that is a customized app, which would give you an access to get over that error message, because right now in Odoo the only supported method with landed costing is, I believe, first in first out or last in first out, but not average costing. So I'm going to go ahead and install the app. So I've pulled up my file explorer, and apparently this is the application, and I'm going to cut and take it to my Odoo folders so that we can install it. Great, so in the add-ons you just have to paste the entire folder, and you're gonna have to hit on update app list. It's gonna take a little a few seconds and would update the app directory. Once we're over with this, you would notice something like AVCO. Oh no, the module name is landed, and it's, yeah, this is it. And then it's made by AVCO Corp, so all credits to him. So we're gonna install this. You'll notice after the installation, this landed cost would easily pass through the process. So we're almost there and done. So I'm gonna head over here and we're going to try to hit the compute button. If we're not successful, we're gonna have to refresh the browser for a bit, but I'd like to try it again. So let's hit the compute button. Okay, so the reason it did not work was we're supposed to cancel this and create the landed cost again. Ideally, the most appropriate way would be to refresh. Hit F5 and then you should have the latest updates applied to the system. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and create, and then the same process. The reason to walk you through the error was to show you guys what this video was really about. And we're gonna have $500 here. I will hit compute. Wait, we kind of have an error here. So we're gonna go ahead. What I did was refresh, and then we're gonna try it again, and hopefully it should work this time. Great. So you'd notice that there is additional cost that is added to this item because we're using current cost method. Let's head over, have a look at our Excel sheet. So we're looking at the split method. Let's say if we change that to equal, it's going to equally divide the 500 to all of them and then add that as a cost. If you change the split method, that current cost, it's going to change that based on what it's currently costing and creating an average out of it, so that the price that's supposed to be more is divided based on prorated basis. And once we're done, we're going to hit validate button, and this should update our inventory details. So if we head over to the products right now, just in case if you still have an error, make sure that the category that you set was correct. Just double check this. And finally you would have the average costing performed here, which could be looked at the moves. So if you worked backward, you would be able to find out how we're arriving at such inventory levels. So my focus wasn't really on the pricing much, but on how the function would work with average costing. So it would be an ideal situation if you would have new inventory and you would conduct this for test purposes to have better understanding. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Bye for now.